Oh,
live?
now we're live.
Oh, we're live now?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're live. Oh, dope. Okay. Simon, dude, it's really good to have you in the shop. Match Point Brewing has been one of my favorite flavors in the shop just for like a minute. Like just getting to know you and getting to know your story has been really dope, man. You know?
Yeah, we're really glad that we were able to kind of stumble upon. I think your website first is what drew me. I was like, wow, this is such a cool website. I kind of want to have our beers here.
Yeah.
And then you were able to kind of throw these awesome community events in the city of Oakland, like your block parties, and we've been to two of them now, and they're like they're growing bigger. I feel like even more people came to the last one, and the first one was really good to just kind of network with other small businesses and AAPI, like
Hell yeah.
entrepreneurs.
Yeah, I mean the AAPI part of it really warms my heart, you know? Just having our Asian community out here, something really special happens, when you get people together that it doesn't even have to be like AAPI, honestly. That part just makes it like a little bit more comfortable for me, like
Sure.
innately.
Yeah.
But just having our community out on the street and feeling that kind of like those good vibes, those community vibes is really rewarding. So I wanted to ask you because I was talking about the Match Point Brewing story just now, and I think my favorite part about your story is that it's a friendship story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
because
mean, basically, my co-founder and I, we go back all the way to high school. We grew up here in Albany. Yeah, we played doubles tennis together.
yeah,
He went to Santa Cruz. I went to Berkeley, but then he moved back into the Bay Area, and we just you know pandemic kind of happened.
oh yeah,
We took on home brewing as a hobby, and fortunately, none of our home brews really got poisoned anybody, or I think that would have probably ended it if we had done that. But fortunately, we followed all the procedures, and also I guess a small shout out to a very well-known homebrew supply shop in the Bay Area, Oak Barrel Winecraft.
okay.
A lot of local breweries kind of started first going to that homebrew supply shop and learning how to brew there.
Oh, that's dope. Okay, so yeah, shout out to
Oak Barrel Winecraft in Berkeley.
Oak Barrel Winecraft. Oh, that's sick. I didn't realize that. So then I suppose there is kind of a community there as well coming out of that place if everyone's going there for their origins locally.
Yeah, yeah. I think they usually have some brewers like attend their monthly bottle shares. I think every third Wednesday of the month or something. Yeah.
Yo, okay, that's dope. I love that. Um, how then that begs the question: how closely knit is the brewing community around here? Like, do you guys ever talk to other brewing companies? Like, I know you go to those mixers and stuff like that, or and stuff, and talk to them there. But do you guys ever like share ideas or anything like that? I know business is business, but
Mm.
do you guys?
Um, I guess like there's a bunch of homebrew clubs
Mhm.
that exist in the Bay Area. The one I'm most familiar with is the Bay Area Mashers Club.
Oh,
I've been to one of their meetups in Faction. They hold their meetings at Faction in Alameda, and yeah, it's like they always try to invite a guest speaker to like talk to their members about maybe a new beer release that they're doing or some kind of method of production and brewing that they're trying. The one I attended was the guest lecture was by Mario from Hella Coastal, which is like a black-owned brewery here in Oakland.
cool.
Um, yeah.
Hell yeah, man. um, I wanted to also ask you about because I know I talked to you a little bit about this before, but I wanted to ask you about like your vision of your business of Matchpoint Brewing. Like, has it changed from when you guys started? Because I know pandemic has made us all pivot and pivot and pivot and pivot, right? And just being a small business owner means that you constantly have to pivot anyways, just to become any form of successful.
Mhm.
So could you tell me about like what the dream looked like to you when you first started, and like what it is to you now?
Sure. I think in the beginning, I mean, it was all just for fun,
Yeah.
like, oh, we're able to make beers, and then, for our friends mainly, and, they like drinking our beers. Uh, we, weren't sure how far this was really going to go in the very beginning,
Uh-huh.
right? And I think we tried to take iterative steps, uh, almost like baby steps, I guess, towards slowly growing this into a real like small business,
Yeah.
with like a sustainable kind of long-term future. Yeah. Um, so we kind of ended up going the route of contract brewing. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that term, but it's where like we work with an existing brewery to make our beer
Mm-hmm.
at their brewery, and then we are able to kind of sell those our beers to places like Baba's House, restaurants, and groceries. Yeah, in the Bay Area.
Oh, that's dope. And so working with, so that's pretty common, huh? Where homebrewers will definitely like need facilities.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's there's a high, you know, capital requirement if you want to start your own brewery.
Yeah.
And we just, definitely didn't have that really accessible and just ready to just go spend.
Right.
It's also, yeah, high risk type of thing to do.
Oh, totally.
So that's why we're taking these iterative steps through contract brewing for now, and with the hopes of, yeah, eventually we can open up our own brewery and have people, yeah, come to our space and have our beers on tap.
Dude, I mean, not see, so not just having the facility, but having the space for people to come, I think is like
Special,
magical.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And then you can really kind of express yourselves through your space as well.
yeah. And
Kind of like,
we've been kind of also learning a lot from just the retail partners that we have,
yeah.
seeing what works well with them, and how they make their space inviting and engaging, yeah, for their customers.
Oh, that's so dope, man. I'm glad to hear that even though you've got to go through a second party to manufacture all your stuff and this and that, it's still profitable.
It's like kind of more break even, and like
Yeah.
it'll keep us going,
Yeah.
but if we want to be more sustainable long
Right.
term, we're gonna need to increase our distribution, but
Right.
also increase like retail type of sales.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right, right. Yeah. It's because you guys, yeah. I mean, the not only the taste, but the branding and like your guys' personality, you know what I mean? I feel like is large potential to scale in time, right? When you can get to that place.
Sure. Yeah. I guess for me, it's maybe the most ambitious that I feel we can grow is just like as a regional California craft brewery. Um, I haven't really been pushing to like expand to like uh, New York or
Right.
Seattle and other areas in the
Hmm.
states where, yeah, sure, there do exist a good craft beer drinking like crowd, but I'd prefer to stay in California.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. Cuz I mean, it's different when you have to go further out and into
sure.
different communities and stuff like that,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, sure, you could also see it as new opportunities to make connections for like, there's Chinatown in New York and just Chinatown in Seattle too, and yeah, but
But you
I,
got to be down like with all of that like
yeah, I will require like a lot more resources, a bigger team, which we're just a small team of three right now, and yeah, so
Who's the third? Who's the third?
besides my co-founder Johnny, my business partner Daniel, yeah,
Oh, and what's Daniel do in the business?
he's more on like the sales side.
Got you.
Yeah.
Dope. Okay. Yeah. I mean, Jen and I can definitely relate.
Yeah, you two probably just have a lot of work and I mean, maybe some help with the graphic design parts.
Yeah,
But
we do have a social media manager, that's Ginny,
yeah. Mm.
and she kills it. But we definitely can't like it. Running a business, it becomes more and more apparent how much help we really need,
Right.
just to make things work, and not only just to make things work the way we want them to, but just to
Hmm.
just to make things work in a way that makes sense,
Yeah.
right? Uh, but yeah, dude, I really dig the vibe behind the brand too. You know,
Thanks.
you guys are really good people, like so easy to get along with. Like not just like, oh, these are nice guys, but you guys really, I can really feel like there's heart behind what you guys are doing. You know?
I guess, yeah, the other thing that Matchpoint Brewing represents for me is just an opportunity to develop strong connections with the Bay Area.
Yo,
I don't really see myself moving,
hmm,
leaving,
the Bay.
yeah, somewhere else. Like practically, yeah, all my good friends and family are here.
Yeah. Oh, Jen says hello.
Hey, Jen.
Yeah. So what is that? So what is the strong connections look like today?
I would say that, like yesterday, for example, we were able to be one of the beer vendors for Good to Eat in Emeryville, the women queer-owned Taiwanese kind of elevated cuisine. And they were throwing their annual Mid-Autumn Moon Festival
Yeah.
barbecue, and
Yeah.
yeah, we were able to be a part of that event, and yeah, it was a great time.
Oh, yeah. I can attest to how special that might be because they as well are really dope people, just so welcoming and bringing that like Chinese culture, you know, like the politeness, the consideration,
And the
the
really good food.
and
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the really good food, man. Oh my God. Yeah, like I said, I was telling you before, it reminds me of my childhood. My mom cooking Taiwanese food and whatnot. Yeah, that's dope. Being able to, there's nothing like that, right? Feeling like you're part of like a community, feeling like you're welcomed into a space and having a place and operating among other like-minded people. There's just no replacing that.
Definitely, and I guess one of our goals for Matchpoint is to kind of maybe broaden people's perceptions of beer and the beer industry, where maybe typically people, if they think of beer at all, they'll think of Budweiser.
Hmm.
If they think of Asian beer at all, they'll just think of Sapporo or Asahi,
Right.
and there's no kind of like in between those two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this kind of brings something to mind is that when you become a business owner, a small business owner, and are targeting sort of regional, especially kind of like how we are as well, you really must become a part of that community. Right? There's really no way around it. You can't just become, some mysterious entity that puts out like a product and then all of a sudden, like, you can get lucky, I guess, and
Hmm.
things can go viral, but without like talking face to face with other businesses and working with people and
Yeah.
like showing your true intention, um often it just feels like that wouldn't work out, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we depend on our retail partners, and they gave us a shot first, to put our beer on their menu, and then it was kind of like on us, and how good is our beer compared to everything else that is on the menu and the shelves for their customers to like us, and they'll actually reorder our beer again, and not
Yeah.
just, yeah, I'll say, oh, nice try, and yeah.
Yeah. That must feel really good. I can imagine too. It's like, oh, they're reordering our beer. That's so dope. They're like, a regular. Now they're becoming a regular customer. I
Yeah.
love something about that feeling. Just feels there's nothing can replace that either. Where it's like, so, oh, somebody is actually investing in who we are,
They're
what we make.
trusting us. It's a, yeah,
Yeah.
it's sort of like a transfer of the excitement that they might have, or the customer might have, for our beer. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And then like coming back and hearing like, oh man, this sold out hella quick, or like people really love this beer and da 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 da. I think I think that's a really special thing too. Um, one thing I do want to ask, because also being small business owners, we work a lot. We don't just like, unless you craft your time where it's like I'm only going to work 9 to 5, but I don't think that's like always possible.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So one of the questions I've been asking a lot of people that come on this podcast lately is, what do you do to decompress? How do you keep your balance?
Good question. Great question, actually. And I guess for me, the way I like to de-stress is just through exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I play tennis recreationally. I picked up basketball. There's like a small group that meets up every Sunday in El Cerrito.
Cool.
We'll also be holding like a 3-on-3 basketball tournament next March during March Madness.
Word. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, simple answer I guess is just exercise and playing sports with friends. Yeah.
Oh, that's a direct straight line into just like calming yourself down, right? Exercise, physical activity, like
Yeah.
super good. Well, that's dope. So you guys basically just like ball it out, or like you get all of that out through physical work.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's also like a good time to just catch up with friends too. Yeah.
Oh, that's dope. I love how simple that is, honestly. I've been kind of turning to that too. Like every once in a while, I'll do boxing with some friends.
Oh,
That's
nice.
my yeah. That's my sport. I mean, like I played a lot of basketball when I was a kid. I did all the sports, right? But like the only thing that really stuck with me was like getting banged up. That and music.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Piano, right?
Oh, violin,
Oh,
violin.
violin. Okay.
Yeah. So that's my thing. I'll just like yesterday I went out onto the balcony and just like sawing away. You know what
Oh,
I mean?
wow.
And something that just takes your mind away from whatever it is that ails you. You know. So that's cool. I mean, a lot of people have come through. I think another thing that I've been asking people is like, uh, if you are ever do you ever get put into very high stress situations, in the course of your work? I'm sure you do at some point. There's always something that spikes that cortisone, right? Right? And what are the most sort of like high stakes things for you guys in your industry?
Probably it's when you try to make something new
Ah.
and or maybe like for the first time making it in a large enough quantity
Mm-hmm.
where yeah you have to kind of invest the money to make it first, and then you kind of hope that all the connections you've made so far work out and they'll be receptive to this new beer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm really gonna miss this particular beer.
Oh, okay.
Yo,
Well, maybe make it again next year. Yeah.
yeah, like a
Yeah.
seasonal thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, dope.
He's referring to, for those of you who can't see quite so well, the 5 spice saison that we made this year for API Heritage Month.
Yeah, exactly. It's just enough five spice for me to think about like my own culture, and I think that's dope. I don't know. As you can see, we're very Chinese, we're very Asian themed
Yeah,
in our business too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it kind of means a lot to have symbols like this that are kind of bringing our culture more to light and becoming more normalized. I mean, like, we're pretty normalized in America, but not always in the way that we want to be normalized.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think being able to kind of grow up in the Bay Area out of like maybe all the other places in the U.S. you could have grew up like in the Midwest or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel very fortunate to have had the access to a lot of good Asian foods, like not just Chinese foods, but like Indian food,
Yeah.
Vietnamese food,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, Filipino food.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so the Bay, I mean, like, have you always been here in the Bay?
I kind of moved here from Vancouver when I was in middle school. So, but ever
Oh.
since then, I've been here. Yeah.
Oh, so you kind of grew up in Canada
Like for elementary school
for elementary
years.
school?
Yeah.
Okay. Dope. All right. Well, I want to give you the opportunity to ask me anything that you want to know about me or us or our business or anything like that because, even though I like asking everyone a million questions, I
Sure.
also like to give the opportunity, for you to ask me.
Yeah. I prepared like a question, I
Oh, you did?
guess. Yeah. I mean, like I'm always just curious, uh, how you guys are able to pull off such awesome events and like unique events too. It's not just like a trivia night,
Yeah.
but you've done stuff like, I think recently you did a spelling bee or something like
The
that.
Cardi spelling
Yeah,
bee?
yeah.
That was hella fun.
Do you have anything else like that coming up that you want to kind of shout out?
Yeah, tomorrow, we're doing the block party. We're teaming up with Lower Grand Radio, and one of our friends from the East Coast, DJ Yu Rochelle Kwan. She does canto pop vinyl, and she has herself. She's made a block party in New York.
Mm.
Where everybody comes out onto the street and it is such a great vibe. They're just like they close off the street, it's crowded up on the street, they have music, people are out there
Wow.
dancing, like the elders come out, everybody from everywhere just like shows up and it's a good vibe. So to really answer your question, it's, I mean, as you may guess, it's community because like Jen and I may have a bunch of good ideas, but we could not execute them at a high level without our community of like really talented and colorful individuals. Um, and I think that's just kind of a testament to the people who really want to become involved with us. So I think it's a very special thing to be able to do all these things and not just to have the ideas because you could sit down and be like, oh man, it would be cool if we could like have a robot out on a stage and that would be, you know what I mean, some crazy. But if you know an engineer that's been
Working
working
on a
on,
robot, yeah.
yeah, right, then it can become possible. And then underneath that, it's this collaborative spirit of like everybody wants it to be cool, everybody wants it to be good, and then the community that has already invested kind of like, you know in who you are and what you're doing, they come out and it becomes just like a really great time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, in order to put something on, you really have to be invested in your community as well, as much as they are coming out to
Hmm.
see you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I remember you had mentioned a long time ago how, even just finding this little spot here, downtown, it was through your community, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Specifically, yeah. I mean, specifically through Jen. I think it was a Poncho who used to be her boss over at Seventh West, because she was the GM there.
Mm.
Yeah, he mentioned the opportunity, and so it just goes to show like who you are as a person really does matter, really, really, even in business. Like even before we started this business, all of the connections that Jen and I have made have really come to fruition, like through the business, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I'm sure you have your. I mean, I consider you part of our community, right?
Yeah.
So,
One of the, hopefully, yeah, just many small, vendors and stuff. And
yeah.
yeah, that,
But
because I feel like you have such a wide variety, like one of the best selections in your little fridge over there.
yo, thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, yeah, and it's cool to meet everyone who comes through. We do tastings together. We make a connection, and through that connection, those ideas can become more of a reality. Because if we didn't really like sit here and talk like this, yeah, sure, we could throw out some ideas and be, oh, maybe that'll be like a good time, or maybe that's profitable, or this or that. But now, since we've seen eye to eye and talked for a little bit, we can actually kind of get into it. Oh, maybe we can dream a little bit bigger,
Yeah,
right?
I'm looking forward to planning more details about, in December. I don't know if Jen mentioned to you, but having our Kickstarter backer party here.
Yeah, dude. I'm really excited for what we might be able to bring, you know? Um, let's see. Do you have any other questions? I know you prepared at least one, but do you just any you could ask me anything. I'm a complete open book too.
Sure. I guess if you were to maybe have the chance to talk to maybe your younger self, let's say.
Ooh, okay,
Yeah.
one of those.
Yeah. What kind of advice or warnings would you would you give?
Okay, advice and warnings. Now, I guess it's funny because, we're the sum of all our parts. And I think the one thing that I've been kind of like has been my mantra this week is simply you are enough, right? That is a core to, I think, most everybody's life is whether you feel like you're enough for one situation or another. Not necessarily even just like for your life, or if you feel like you're a good enough person or this or that, or like you're enough in the moment. I feel like when you're coming up with ideas, right? The way you treat yourself, the way you come about things is so reflective on how you see yourself. And even in terms of success, you can only be so successful as you deem worthy.
Right.
So if you don't think you're worthy for success, you're not gonna take that for yourself. You're not gonna take the steps. You're not gonna believe in yourself. It's not gonna work out because unless somebody does it for you, but then that's not the same, and it may not be a lasting thing because you didn't generate it from yourself. So if I were to tell my younger self something, if it's just one thing, you are always enough in this moment. You're always enough. Don't give in to the hatred. Don't give in to like naysayers or people telling you like, "Oh, that's a weird or dumb idea," or like, "Are you sure?" Like, I'm not saying like blindly just like push aside everyone's advice and stuff like that, but what I'm saying is like always know that there's some goodness behind that intention there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something worthwhile.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I guess like, when we're younger, I feel like we're a lot more impressionable and
Yeah.
we like to gravitate towards things that are maybe trendy or like just,
Definitely.
yeah. And we might not think long term and stuff. And I guess I wouldn't consider myself old or anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just turning 30 this year.
Let's go.
Um,
Prime years.
but I guess compared to my early 20s and stuff, I feel like I've slowed down a lot and just thankful to have had the time to reflect more on what I want to do long
Yeah.
term.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like that would be your advice to your younger self is to like don't forget about the long term.
Sure. Yeah.
Because that one's it's easy to, especially if you have like some ADD or whatever, it's really easy to just trapped up in now
Yeah.
and not think about later. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was kind of just like, what's the next thing, or what can I do like to be better, or
Yeah.
yeah, just, and it doesn't necessarily matter, I guess. You, like you said, you kind of define your own version of success.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've been thinking about that a lot lately, Like what is your version of success today, right? In terms of like your life and your business. And do you feel like you're living that,
For me, I feel like I'm right now in this kind of open, kind of exploratory phase, and things are looking good.
Dope.
And I'm very fortunate to have been able to have the privilege to kind of pursue this. I don't think I could have done it without the support of family and close friends, and they've been through our Kickstarter campaign that we did last month, and they were really able to come rally with us to, yeah, show their support.
Can you tell us more about the Kickstarter?
Sure, yeah. It was a campaign kind of we wanted to do, or we felt it was like the right time to do after a year or so of having our beers available on the shelves and stuff in the Bay Area. And our goal is kind of to raise a small amount of money towards our eventual like opening of a tap room, our own space in the Bay Area.
Oh, sick. Okay, yeah. So you're already striving towards that, the having your own tap room. I'm really excited about that. I'm really really excited for you guys to have that space, and for you guys to like really put on your own vibe, like outside of just the branding and like just the energy that you put out. Yeah, that's gonna be dope.
It'll definitely be a new set of challenges and everything. And we're gonna just work through them, yeah, step by step.
I'm super excited for you guys. I just one thing just to leave off on. I really want to congratulate you guys for what you've done so far.
Thank you.
And I don't mean that in any small way, because like, you know, I was talking to one of my friends about like relationships, right? And you know, whether there was somebody that they deserve or blah blah blah, that doesn't really matter. But I ended up saying something like, you know, at least 50% of this relationship, if you think this relationship is awesome, you're at least 50% responsible for that. So whatever your successes are, you're at least however much, right? I think there's three of you. At the very least, you're 1/3 of the reason why this entire thing is awesome, and why the entire thing is possible for success, and for the reason why you guys are doing well. So congratulations.
Thanks, Alan.
Yo. That's dope. I hope we see a lot more of you guys in the future. And thanks for coming through and being vulnerable and sharing, you know, how you guys are doing, and just kind of like letting me dive into, you know, talking with more small business owners.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
And we hope to be at one of your future events, block parties. Yeah.
Of course, man. Yo, thank you. All right, bro. Let's see. Well, usually we try to rate out here, but I think we're just gonna call it.